All right, test. Let me get the music going again. How are you guys doing? Fun week we've had. Let me get that there. I always have to mess with this audio, so I apologize. So what I've learned is I physically cannot stream without music in my ear at this point because we've been doing this for so long now. Anyway, what's up, Fletch? How are you? All right, so let's go ahead and get this started. We're going to have a fun stream today, and we'll kick this off. This is your boy Runner, Rainbow Trends weekly Whale Watch stream. We do this once a week, every Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and then we go hang out in the Discord and do an open mic. And we do Q&A there, we talk Toyotas, we hang out with friends, we share serious alpha. Dudes post a lot of really good charts up in there that are way better than me. And we have a good time. And if you have any questions of why any of my stuff looks like this, why my charts aren't just red and green, or like that per se, it's all rainbow theory, and it's all rainbow trends, and we focus on whales. Got a really good track record with this stuff, and if you have any interest, check us out at rainbowtrends.com. It's no longer rainbow-trends.com. We have both URLs now, thank God. Or go ask any of our friends and family about it. They can show you the way. And as always, the Discord link's at the top. So if you want to find that link and go hang out in the OG Discord, which has been a phenomenal Discord the past few years, we should be good. Stream is not intended to be used as financial advice. It's meant for educational purposes only. As you guys know, this is an art stream. This is clearly not anything related to charts or trading or anything like that. We paint on the charts, and we just may or may not have some weird ticker symbols on there, right? But anyway, let's get going. So I just released the update to the machine learning reversion bands with a major upgrade for automation. So I'll be updating this shortly. This is our FAQ kind of Wikipedia Gitbook looking thing. A lot of data here on the tool tutorials, and if you want the absolute breakdown or read how all this stuff ticks, because frankly it's a little over 10,000 lines of code at this point, and there's a lot of data here, so I try to break down every single thing in here, so definitely go give this a look if you haven't. But as you guys know, we have a very special stream today. This is, I think, the first giveaway stream. I don't know if I've ever done it. I'm trying to think if I have ever all these years. I never really take sponsorship deals at all. And if I do any type of partnership, I usually do it for free and give the kickbacks normally back to the people. But today, probably about 30 minutes, it's halfway through my slide deck, we're going to be giving away to a lucky winner a 1997 copy of the Nintendo 64 Wheel of Fortune game. So stay tuned if you want a chance to look at this and win this later. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. But we're going to start off with some good news before we get into the technical data. If you guys didn't know, they are re-releasing some of the sequels of Star Wars. And I'm so happy because I absolutely love Anakin, the character, and the character arc of Anakin to spoiler alert, Darth Vader. But Anakin, the actor, Hayden Christensen, had such a bad rap. So many people hated on him, and he just bought a farm and went and disappeared for forever. And new generation came along and started appreciating the sequels, and he started to get some fandom back, as he rightfully deserved. And I'm so happy for it that he's kind of had this arc. He's come back. The community loves him. People get so mad about it, and they blah blah blah. He's awkward. He's whiny and all this other stuff. The dude's playing Darth Vader as a kid. That's the character. He nailed the character. You just don't like the character of Darth Vader. Surprise, the bad guy, right? But I'm so happy to see this guy have the arc come back around. And I saw this ad today, and it just made me so happy. I wanted to share this. So let me turn up my audio. Let me turn up the desktop audio so you guys can hear this.
One ticket, please.
But which movie?
One ticket, please.
But which movie?
Tell. And I definitely want that. That is so cool. But anyway, had to share that. I just thought it was cool. And like I said, it's cool to see that dude come back and be part of the Star Wars culture and the fandom. Anyway, another thing I wanted to share. I hope you guys had a great Easter. If you guys haven't noticed, I've been kind of MIA for a week or so, 2 weeks. this year-long offshore oil field project I've been working on finally came to a head, and we had to get it offshore. It was absolutely crazy, and I missed half of Easter over it. But I got all that taken care of, flew down, or ran down, met my family, we did Easter. And I didn't get to do this. I just saw this after. But I can tell you this is going to be a new thing. Instead of Easter egg hunting, I want to do this. If you can't tell, they've taken one of the uncles and they've covered him in all the Easter gifts, candies, and they've put dollars on them. And it has turned into a free-for-all of the kids trying to take him out. Check this out. This is good vibes. My family, this would be absolutely mental. So I can't wait to do that at the next family reunion. And they finally take him down. But anyway, so you can tell this stream is very professional. And we have a corporate guideline and schedule that we have to follow. So anyway, moving on. Back to real stuff. Back to the corporate side, right? Rainbow Trends is now officially released. Thanks Twitter. I already have blue. We can talk about promotion. Blech. If you guys don't know, like the algos have severely nerfed everybody, and I'm getting really frustrated that they're trying to pitch it now, even for the paid viewers. But the big thing I wanted to show you guys today, we could do a little tech demo. We have an upgrade to the machine learning reversion bands. Very excited. This thing took a really long time. I had a lot of requests for years. I frankly didn't want to code it because I was afraid it was going to have issues with the enhancements we had to make into it. Long story short, we can now automate signals when we have coins entering and exiting these bands. I say exiting, when it enters these bands, whether that's the sell side or the buy side. So the traders can now automate alerts and automate settings to a level we haven't ever had available before. And it allows you to really do some really cool things. So definitely check out for the Machine Learning Bands version 1.3. Refresh your charts if you're not seeing it. That's definitely there, and it's a very cool upgrade. So I wanted to show you how this amazing upgrade in coding technology applies to the next greatest crypto asset after Bitcoin. So we're going to take a look at the Fartcoin chart. I'm going to show you this tool because, frankly, I'm going to have to do videos on this later on anyway. And I figured I'd show you guys how cool this thing is because it's a lot of stuff. What's up, Sean? Sean from Twitch. Much love, dude. So, normal reversion bands don't have these markers. And what these markers indicate is when a candle is closing inside the bands. So, you're allowed to have a marker on those bands. And every single red square, green square, orange square, whatever, you can set an alert to it. So you can sit there and chill in your fart position and wait for it to hit these bands and have it set as your, hey, send an email alert to yourself, say, hey, time to sell. Stuff like that. Time to buy as well. And you'll notice there's multiple colors here too. You'll see that we actually have orange. So when we have the machine learning bands, the AI side of it, you can actually get an alert set specifically only for those events. So it's pretty cool. So I'll walk you guys through that because it's got a lot of tunability. Back testing this was pretty insane, not gonna lie. If you set it right, it's really nice. It's an easy way to put it. So let me switch this over, make sure we're on log so it's a little easier to look at. And let me show you some of the settings because it has a lot more settings in here than before. And I'm gonna start from here. So I'm not gonna start from the top. I'm going to start here. So if you don't like the markers, you can toggle them off and on. If you want to change the markers to different emojis or you want to change them to letters, you can change them here. And the charts will change them as needed, right? So you have full customization. You can put whatever here you want in as far as the alerts or what the indicators are, or what the markers show, right? Traditional band transparency, you guys have that as well. You can make that visually look as you want, and you can change the colors however you need. Do your own thing. So the big upgrade, though, is adjustability. as well as the alert automation. So you can now move the bands up and down as needed and set them for your coin. So you can filter out, is it too many sales signals? Is it too many reversion signals? Whatever. You can now adjust this bad boy vertically for the top band and the bottom band respectively. And this will move both the bottom bands and the top bands respectively, as well as the machine learning, because machine learning is based on the base band. So that gives you all of that. Oh, hold on one second. I got a kid crying. I will be right back. Sorry. Apologies. I thought Mama wasn't here and heard some crying, but she's looking after him, so we can keep going. So anyway, what's up, Nahul from Twitch? Where were we? All right, I'm gonna set these back so you can adjust the bands up and down, and you can tune it exactly how you want it. So like an example of that is you have Fartcoin down here. It's too many. You want to be a little more volatile. You can start pulling that back. Just use your mouse wheel, and you can sit there and get it to where the volatility is more in line with how you want, and you can filter out, you know, some of the signals as you need. The other thing, if you want to only have alerts on the white candles and the pink candles, you can now also filter that. So we want band touches that are in the pinks or the whites. We want the most extreme candles. You can now filter that as well. And if you happen to have custom settings for your candles, you can put your custom settings in here, and that will mimic your white candle filters here and pink candle filters here. So a good example here is, say you run higher tunes where there's less pinks and whites. Watch, it'll turn them down. Now, likewise, you have to switch that back in your main indicator so that they align. There's no way I can link the two, but it gives you a pretty cool way to see how there's only the white candle there and only the pinks there. So you could set this up and get it in tune with your coin, and then that's like a 80% move that you could automate catches with. So it's pretty cool. And when you want to do alerts, let me hide my screen real quick so I don't flash any important alerts. All right, so we're good. Let me go back to the stream. All right, so you set your alerts on whatever asset. It doesn't have to be Fartcoin. It doesn't. I know hot air rises, and that's what we're focused on, but you go to your machine learning reversion bands here, and you now have the options. I want to set an alert on green band, cyan band, red band, or orange band, and you can do that. And then you'd want to do this like once per bar close, entering orange band. Never been done before. Bye, bye, bye. Right? And then you would create it, and it'll populate here. Give it a second because we're streaming, so this is going to lag. There it is. So 4 hours, and you can set those. So that's how you set the alerts, and you can automate it now how you want. You can set these up how you want, and you can tell yourself, hey, this is when I want to pay attention to the machine learning bands. So ideally, like if you have like 5, 10, even 100 coins, if you really wanted to do it, you could automate all the alerts for it, specifically what you're looking for. So if there's like a bump in the night, let's look at Jasmine. Jasmine had a bump in the night recently. I don't know if it was on Coinbase. I think it was on... I forgot where it was. There it is. So you see how there is... Let me turn off these pivots. You see how there's like a bump in the night here? A liquidity wick? Most people sleep through stuff like that, right? But what you can do, you can bring in your bands to where they actually... Well, it's not going to show it on that because it was so fast. Probably have to go to lower time frames. Was it a flash wick? It was. We're not going to be able to show it. I'm sorry. Because it was only probably for like 2 seconds. But anyway, you get the kind of the idea. You can have a bump in the night drop, and you can automate when your phone gets alerts. And then some of you guys are clever enough to figure out how to automate trades based off that. Although It's not a trading bot, but it's definitely automated. So you guys can have a good time with it. So let me switch that back all to defaults. When in doubt, play with all these tunes, try to mess them up. Just go back down to here and hit reset settings, and everything goes back to normal. So we can go way back and show like a capitulation on Bitcoin. You're gonna be really lazy. There's your liquidity sweeps. You can have a really good old time. Now, you're really boring waiting for that type of stuff, but that's how it would play out. Anyway. Nah, well, that's cool, dude. Anyway, moving on. That's it. I'm going to do a dedicated video, and I'm going to do a dedicated page back on the Wikipedia, but that is the upgrade. It's one of the most deadly tools I've ever coded. Frankly, I never want to do machine learning ever again, but like right here, this is the COVID. You can see orange alerts, red alerts, orange alerts, orange alerts. Your automation, if you automated this, your phone would just be blowing up. Bam, 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 especially depending on the time frame. So just depends on where it's going. So let's go into looking at the markets. If you have any questions, come hit us up in the Discord about the tool. More than happy to talk about it more. But we got a lot of stuff to cover today because frankly, this week has not been boring. But anyway, like I said, we do this for free. We don't do any monetization on these videos. If it does monetize, let me know on YouTube because I try to turn that stuff off. But definitely give us a like, comment, subscribe. It goes a long way with these finicky algos. So moving on. Shout out TrendSpider. Shout out Dan Oshman, good friend of mine. And I really like their content. But this was a lot of the sentiment that I had last week. There seems to be an infinite gold bid right now because people are really running to safety. And we're also seeing S&P futures start to move in different directions as well. Nexus Blade Runner. What's up, my guy? On YouTube. Hello, hello. Let me test out the chat, see if that works. So I wanted to take a look at gold because gold actually showed some like parabolic stuff this week and then it started pulling back. And it's been kind of interesting. I say kind of interesting. Gold's doing stuff like how everyone pitched crypto would do in a monetary crisis, right? So let me pull these tunes back because I had it a little too hot for dailies. Oops, -3. We'll go -3. So one of the things I noticed, we were getting volume impulses on gold, and it was coming in waves. I posted some tweets on this, and we're starting the third wave here. And man, maybe gold goes to infinite bid. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to. Let me get the price. I want the countdown gone. Labels. There we go. So it's like $3,300 an ounce right now. Super, super volatile. And it's actually like, it's gapping the spot prices on gold at like Costco. So it's really interesting. So people are like, dude, you should just go start buying these 1 ounce bars at Costco. They're $200, $300 cheaper than this price. You could go sell them. And I was like, that's an interesting arb. The Costco hot dog and gold arb. So anyway, this is going super parabolic. This is moving like a crypto coin, but it's like slow old gold. And essentially, with the turmoil in the markets we have with the current administration, and as well as other worldwide events, people are fleeing to gold right now. It seems to be what a majority of the people are dumping stocks, dumping bonds are going into. But this trade can't go to infinity, obviously. So eventually this is going to stop. I don't know where gold trends tend to go for a long, long time. I mean, we were in freaking accumulation since 2020. Reaccumulation, technically. And now we're breaking out. Where this goes, I don't know. But it's crazy is that it's printing like pink candles. And it's actually almost touching the reversion bands, which is just crazy for something this slow. And I think we could see a lot of risk on arguments when this trade dies. Now, I don't know when that is, when it is, where it is, etc. But this is eventually going to stop playing ball like that, right? So I'm watching this. This is looking like a parabolic top. It really is right now. It's getting crazy. But that being said, the news cycle is crazy too. So we'll see. Like you said, everyone's risking off TradeFi right now. And they've been doing it since February. And we actually pulled off about a 21% pullback. Let me get that just right. It's probably 22. About 21.5. 20% pullback on the S&P 500, which is no slouch. That's a hell of a correction. We've wiped out a lot of progress, obviously. And now the question is how bad is this going to get? We started to show a rally. We've come back and hit some major order blocks. And in the previous streams, it was basically saying like, hey, if we're going into like all hell broke loose, worst times ever, we're talking here. We don't want that, but we're pretty confident this is the floor. Like, can't get any worse than this. Unless we start splitting atoms, right? So we're looking, and we may be getting support, but with this type of thing, this type of monster isn't just going to V-bottom. It's going to take a little while. Even COVID, which people consider a V-bottom, it took weeks for it to fully bottom out the S&P 500 and gain. But we go back and look at like 4-hour stuff. We're starting to see support. We have a lower high, or I have a higher low and a slightly higher prints here. Could this drag on for another 2, 3 weeks, 4 months? Sure. But we have to watch this because every time you guys start talking decoupling in the chat, I get bearish. And a lot of people are talking crypto decoupling, and it's dangerous to say it because the S&P is not just going to keep trucking down to like $4,000 and Bitcoin just going to do great. I don't think that's a thing. So that being said, while Bitcoin was really following this downtrend, why the people started talking about decoupling, we did see flows. We did see people start to buy the dips eventually on Bitcoin. They didn't V-bottom catch it like normal, but they started going hard. To the point, we saw $963 million in inflows the other day. Almost $1 billion on inflows with Bitcoin down and the S&P chopping. We've been seeing infinite bid on gold. Now we're starting to see... Oh, I wish this had a dark mode. That was blinding. We saw the past, well, not today, but the past two, the 22nd and the 23rd, $900 million each. And the day before was at 400 or almost 400 million. It's a lot. A whole lot. So we shall see. We shall see. People are even buying grayscale for F's sakes. It's interesting. Flows are kind of a weird thing to watch. It's more of a secondary indicator when I look at them because it's not going to give us the data we want. It's definitely good, though. It's a good sign. If this just kept dumping infinitely, it wouldn't be so fun. But let's take a look at Bitcoin. So this is a big deal. Really big deal. Not to sound like a broken record. We had a really fun time electing the first crypto president, pro-crypto president, to only have that be the inauguration day be the day we peaked. And we've been downtrending ever since, and we've been looking for structure because, frankly, we just broke through these order blocks and we just kept trucking, and we didn't really hit this old range. We got really close to it, and we were plotting like, hey, this support order block gave out. This bottom one is kind of an area, or I say kind of, it is an area of support. We don't want to talk about getting into the 70s because that's scary. And then we started trying to form a channel walk. Ethereum definitely did, and I'll show you that in the next few slides. But Bitcoin started to kind of form a channel walk. And if you notice, there's no pivots here at all. So there's not much price action either here. We only spent a few days, and then we went straight up in here and we ranged out for a bit. So it was a really weird setup. It didn't really have a lot of structure, but it started to kind of form a channel. And we've been posting in the Discord talking about, hey, the channel walk's starting to break. And then lo and behold, it has. And now we've reclaimed this support order block, which is huge. Typically, when you recover like this, you come up to order blocks and you ricochet off. You have to hit them a few times. And then you can try to go through them. What was previous support is now resistance, and that's just where we're at. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the nature of how whales manage positions and break through them. Frankly, we went straight through this thing. We broke the channel walk, and we took well print clusters and shot straight through this thing. If you'll notice down here as well, This is a Coinbase versus Binance tool I wrote a while back. It's not released. There's so many versions of this. I added some smoothing to it that I preferred, which maybe we'll release it. I don't know. Feels weird releasing something that's like 15 lines of code, but whatever. This shows you when price of Bitcoin on Coinbase is higher than Binance. And then when you see it down here, this is when the price of Bitcoin is more expensive on Binance. So vice versa. Needless to say, those are the two really important exchanges in the world for Bitcoin. But what it's saying is essentially is we tend to run hard and set all-time highs when Coinbase is pumping. You get your sailors, you get your ETFs flowing, and Bitcoin on Coinbase is way more expensive than overseas. And when that happens, we typically see price move up. And then we offload and distribute on Binance. And that's what we see here. And for a while, this downtrend from the inauguration, we've had a lot of Binance, this area here. Binance Premium, Binance Premium, Binance Premium. We finally started to bottom out, and then lo and behold, Coinbase started waking back up, right? So it's a really good confirmation. I want to see this, and I want to see Coinbase continue to hold this premium and then us get through here. Because what I'm really scared of is getting to the very top of this order block and rejecting it. Does that make sense? You guys have any questions? Also, shout out liquidity tools because bam, 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 gone. So if you guys haven't noticed, the candles aren't too hot. They're only blue. We got a bunch of well prints here. And we got really strong RSI. I think there's a white RSI snuck in there. Yeah. White and yellow RSI rotating. So RSI is rotating. I want to see this continue into Friday and continue on. So far, Asian markets are open and they're working right now. So anyway, H4 bottom calls with a bottom runner bot. And then the channel walk, we're marking the break. And then you can see what I always talk about is the breakout where it comes back and it kind of retests. That's your retest movement right there. That's what we typically see in those. If they don't pull that retest, typically they enter back into the channel and then they continue the move downward. So, anyway. When in doubt, though, just ask Nexus. He draws curved things that I cannot draw in Coinbase or TradingView. Moving on, let's do a quick check on the Mayer multiple. This is the daily on the BLX. Let me turn logarithmic on so it's a little easier to read. We're getting roughly the same support in the Mayer multiple values here. You can see this 0.9 standard deviation is kind of showing liquidity hold or price action holding. And we're starting to see this here, albeit we didn't really come down for a third test. You kind of want to consider that maybe 3. But we're moving back up. And we have to keep an eye on this because if we're looking at like the Bitcoin halving timeframes, I think I freaking deleted. I did all my target stuff. I need to put the target stuff back up here. Our goal, every Bitcoin bull run ever has touched the 2.0 standard deviation. All of them. Hold on one second, guys. And we're looking to see if we get that again. It's not that it happens every time, but it has happened every time. So we're in new territory for sure. New things can happen. But if rhyme to reason, Q4's wintertime is typically bullish for Bitcoin to do previous peaks, right? So if the end of the year is roughly there, and the bottom of the 2.0 standard deviation is like roughly along those lines, you see, right? Kind of like that. It's roughly what it is. This is ballpark, right? Just whatever. You're gonna freak out if price touches this, regardless. But the key point is the big thing with the Mayer multiple. If you print a standard deviation above 2.0, if we close if we have a candle go through this, whether it closes, it's a wick, whatever, you need to wake up and start realizing profits. That's the rule. Or lock in, start moving your stop losses up, however you do it, whatever your system is. The key thing is don't get into this 2.0 area because crypto Twitter will be euphoric as F. And when everyone's euphoric, no one sells. And then you have mass regrets and everything else, and the whales got you. I say whales of fortune. If this is setting up for that final Bitcoin bull run, happening time-wise, this is what it's looking like. We can take a look at this. So if we try to peak out in the next 6 months, 10 or 6 to 8 months, whatever, you're looking at like 200 plus K per Bitcoin, which is crazy. And a lot of people are like not so happy and stuff right now and not even thinking about all-time highs. Not to sound like a permabull, but like we're only like 17% from the all-time high. That's not that much. Now, mind you, we did have a retrace. We pulled back 30%, 31%, 31.5 if you're counting. So it's nice to have this recovery. I want to get back up into here. I want to hit that 2.0, and then I want to start screaming at you guys during the Twitch, YouTube streams to say it's time to start locking in and beholding the beauty that is sitting cash or gold. Maybe it goes into infinity. Maybe options send this stuff to 500K. I don't know. But I just know if you go back and look at my Mayor multiple streams stuff, we always hit the 2.0 since the beginning of crypto history. Sorry, I'm missing my words up. So that's how that is playing out. We always have to check it, right? This is the sanity check. When in doubt, check the Mayor multiple. Also check Carpe Nine. What's his mood like? You got to check that out. It's a vibe. It's a very good vibe. Now, Ethereum. This is the chart everybody does not want to talk about, and I don't want to look at Coinbase premiums for Bitcoin on this. So, this has had a much worse channel. When I say channel, it's had a much longer duration channel walk. And Rainbow Theory traders trade the living hell out of channel walks because they're friggin' awesome for take profit points. That way you don't erase a huge gain. And they're also very, very good for spotting reversals on a bottom. And if you don't know, Ethereum has pulled back 66% since the all-time high. Not the all-time high. The all-time high like this year. I guess it was last year. Past 12 months, it's been the high. And it's came down, broke through all of our mid-range order blocks, our recent support order block, and now it's actually going back to like old school order blocks from October of 2023. Not 2024, 2023. And we're now actually pulling out of the channel walk. Now, as I said before, channel walks, you have to watch them when they start to break and then just make sure that they don't re-enter the channel. When they re-enter the channel, that's when you have to like really be careful. But right now, and let me draw this because this is Rainbow Theory 101, drawing your order blocks. You see how I have those 3 pivots there? Bam. It's at the bottom of the range. We're going to call it, we're going to make it green. So it looks like we've had a channel walk since December of last year. So like 5 months of this. And it's breaking through. Now, I want to see this hold. Now, if this thing starts to walk, you're talking about a potential macro trend bottom reversal here. Potential. Remember, Ethereum is not bullish running like crazy. It's been bleeding. So you don't want to like try to Pico snipe this thing because it's dirty. You have to wait for the slower time frames to flip. What's up, Edwin, on Twitter? So let me check the... I forgot what I was going to look at. Anyway, let me get the paintbrush tool so I can annotate this bad boy. So we have the break here. Now, mind you, we've had a break here. It broke up, order block, and then it rejected, and then it continued on, right? It kind of broke through here, rejected it, and it continued on. We're starting to see that here, and we don't have enough daily candles to confirm this is broken. But as long as we can stay above this channel here, and frankly not get through this order block, this is a really, really prime spot to call the bottom on Ethereum. Technically. If you blindfolded me and didn't tell me this was Vitalik coin, I would be screaming that that's the support order block you need to pay attention to. So, and we'll annotate that here. This is the other one. You get multiple support enter blocks. And that's kind of how you draw these ranges. It's not the prettiest thing, but dude, this stuff's not easy. So, not a lot of people want to get bullish on that. But if this is the bottom, we are looking at 133% return to get back up to the 4,000 print, which was our previous high, like, what, 3 times now? Bam, bam, bam. Ethereum hates $4,000 order blocks. Just hates it. So you're looking at a potentially good trade on a substantial asset that can take liquidity and has ETF backings, right? This could start going and gaining steam. And if we're looking at the Q4 target for this thing to top out and go, that's really kind of what we're looking at. So let me know what your thoughts are. If you're short or long Ethereum. We also kind of have, I was going to check out the cloud. Let me make sure that's Josh Cloud. Yeah. Carpet Noctum's cloud. It's getting fat there too. So we could start approaching this and then start talking edge to edge and then maybe continue on, because this mid-range order block here is going to be a pain to get through. Just hang with me while I try to get that moved over. So I want to move these over so you can see it. So anyway, you got any questions, let me know. It's overhated, but man, I say it's overhated, Edwin, you're right, but it's hated so much, but the damn thing's dropped 67%. So while Vitalik does really weird stuff. So it's part of it. It's part of it. But moving on, we're going to go into some TradeFi for a little bit. We're going to do that raffle for the Wheel of Fortune 1997 authentic Nintendo 64 game. But the one thing you've noticed, White House administrations tend to have leaks, and then they condemn the leaks, and then they find the whistleblower, or not the whistleblowers, but maybe the leakers and stuff like that, whatever, and they yell at them, they condemn them, they fire them, stuff like that. Trump this morning says they had a meeting with China, and then Trump on the trade doc, when asked, wouldn't identify who was talking to who or whatnot, which is interesting. Why would you not say what official you're talking to? Right? And here's a little clip of this. This is kind of interesting because I don't know how to read this personally. I don't know if this is a lie or a truth, because Trump will just say a lot of random things, and you have to check this out, because this is actually important, because the whole tariff war is turned into a China war regarding to trade relations, and now they're asking big boy questions about this type of stuff. So listen to this real quick.
Thank you very much for that question. I like that question. Yeah, please.
A question on China. Can you clarify with whom the U.S. is speaking with China? They're saying it's fake news that trade talks are happening.
Well, they had a meeting this morning, so I can't tell you. It doesn't matter who they is. We may reveal it later, but they had meetings this morning, and we've been meeting with China. And so I think you have, Jeff, as usual, I think you have your reporting wrong. Thank you very much. We'll see you. We'll see you in...
Which is really interesting. Because China is doing press stuff like this.
近来美方不断是有消息称中美之间正在谈判，甚至将会达成协议。请问您能否证实双方有没有开始谈判？
这些都是假消息。据我了解，中美双方并没有就关税问题进行磋商或谈判，更谈不上达成协议。这场关税战是由美方发起的，中方的态度是一贯的、明确的，打奉陪到底，谈大门敞开。对话谈判必须是平等、尊重、互惠的。
So I can't really figure out what the negotiation tactic is to deny you're even talking to the other team. That's a really weird thing to me, and I'm trying to understand it. I'm not super involved with this China war thing going on, but I am paying attention to see how the tones are shifting and how people are starting to talk to each other, because eventually this resolves. It's just like every trading negotiation, every war, everything comes to an end, right? Except like the war on drugs. So this is going to eventually come to an end, and I believe this is going to be bullish because these tariffs are throwing the market into chaos. So I'm starting to suspect that the whole goal of the tariff things is just to shake out this market, because the market right now is risking off bonds and U.S. stocks, and they're buying gold, the safe haven that is the old G gold shiny rock, right? That's clearly what's happening. And we're seeing pivot after pivot after pivot, leak after leak after leak. I say leak, quote unquote leak, right? Pivot, pivot, pivot. and it's wrecking markets. I've been trying to find some good analogs of what the Chinese tickers are that you guys look at. I kind of look at the Hong Kong HS 550 cash index. The Hang Seng is like the Golden Dragon one, I think is what it was also called. Don't shoot the messenger. I don't look at it that much. Some volatility, but not really seeing much there. But this is where it gets really just kind of weird. They're talking about, the China tariffs are coming down. We're talking. China's saying we're not even talking. And then you got Besant coming out and saying full China trade deal may take 2 to 3 years. This administration's got like 3.5 years. So I hope to God we don't have tariff wars for that long. So anyway, that's really what's adding to the shakeout that we have on the S&P. And it's just the reality of it. So we have to pay attention, but not super pay attention, because I think they're intentionally leaking the stuff just to create volatility and keep the volatility coming. Because they'll say one thing, and then literally in the next few hours they'll say the other thing, and the markets are just getting shook left and right. So we're gonna take a comedic break here and listen to this real quick. So this individual interviewed one of my favorite senators. And this senator is so good at talking trash about people she's supposed to talk trash to. She can say the most absurd things with a straight face. And this guy almost got her to break character. And does it have anything to do with the charts? Absolutely not. I just love it, and I wanted to show you guys and have a little laugh in between the heartbreak that is tariffs.
Do you regret saying that President Biden had a mental acuity? He had a sharpness to him. You said that up until July of last year.
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
I said I had not seen decline. And I hadn't at that point.
You did not see any decline from 2024 Joe Biden to 2021 Joe Biden?
Not when I said
She
that.
hates crypto, so this
You know, the thing is, he was sharp. He was on his feet. I saw him. Live event. I had meetings with him a couple of times.
Senator, on his feet is not praise. He can speak in sentences is not praise.
All right. Fair enough. Look, the question is, what are we going to do now?
As bad as she talks about Bitcoin, this deserves. He almost broke
as sharp
her.
As you.
Love it. I love it. So anyway, Warren, anti-crypto, do some more stuff like that. But moving on. This is the big event you guys have been waiting for, the long-awaited giving of the 1997 Wheel of Fortune Nintendo 64 game. Like I said, we're giving away to one of the lucky viewers today. And I've been thinking about how to do it fairly, because I can't do the old trivia stuff, not the trivia. I can't do like the marble racing like we used to do on Twitch, because right now we're streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter through the grace of Restream, which is not cheap. So I'd figured the best way to do this is to do a Google Earth style trivia, where you guys have to guess where this video is, or not this video, where this Google Earth is. So if you guys are ready, get ready to hit up the chat. Let me know you guys are ready, and we'll start in like a minute. But we are going to see who can guess this location first. And the first person to guess the location on this map, or from this video or view of Google Earth, I'll announce the winner when I see it in the chat. But you're going to have to message me your P.O. box or address you want this thing shipped to. It's very, very, very rare, very fragile. I got to wrap it up. I got to mail it to you. So you're gonna have to hit me up in Twitter or Discord, whatever. And let me know. So if you guys are ready, let's see if you guys can recognize this spot. Sunset, ocean, or lake. Could be a big lake. Some villages, some boats. Do you guys have a guess? The pause game strong. What's up, Matt? Does anybody have a guess where this is? Let me know. Ohio? No. More southern than Ohio, RJ. Mim's closer. It's part of Mexico. It may or may not be related to Shawshank Redemption. And this is a giveaway too if you guys know something about this place. So I will give you're on the right side, Sean. I'll let you guys know. If you guys don't know. Which you don't. You don't even know the location, so you can't tell me you know trivia. This is a man-made jetty. And guess who made this jetty? The Aztecs. What is this? This is a beach that the Aztec king decided to make for all of his lady friends, and he wanted protected waves, so the Aztecs actually built a jetty to build this really nice beach where there's no waves. And I've been here, and it's really, really cool. You can actually go snorkel out here. It's covered in barracudas and everything else, and you can see an Aztec-made underwater structure. You guys are getting close. Catalina wine mixer, no. I'm sorry, AOE. You guys don't know Shawshank Redemption. I'm very sad. I'll give you guys a hint. Over that mountain is Ixtapa. Gucci Cat got it. Gucci. My guy. So if you guys don't know, this is Zihuatanejo. It's one of my favorite places on earth. I haven't been in a very long time. But Gucci Cat got it. Gucci Cat has won the 1997 Wheel of Fortune Nintendo 64 cartridge. Congrats. Shoot me a DM on Twitter, por favor, and we'll go from there. But yeah, check this out. This is an actual jetty the Aztecs built, which I don't know if there's any Aztec ruins around here. I never saw any, but this is actually Zihuatanejo. And if you guys don't know, in the movie Shawshank Redemption, Red goes to meet Andy. I think his name's Andy. When he gets out of jail, and states that, hey, if you ever get out, come meet me on a beach in Zihuatanejo. It's a little fishing village on the southwest side of Mexico. And they actually visit this beach. So it's really cool. It's the only other time I've ever seen Zihuatanejo messaged or mentioned. So anyway, moving on. I'm going to see if I can do some more fun giveaways throughout the year. Probably try to do some monthly giveaways as well for Rainbow Trends if you guys are interested in that. But back to the chaos. Back off Wheel of Fortune. Trump is considering auto tariffs again. I say again, the whole thing has been auto tariffs. And then news comes out that he's thinking about not doing auto tariffs. And then the markets start pumping on the automotive industry. And then they say that he's not considering that. The auto tariffs. So this is what I'm talking about. I'm fairly confident this is just planned chaos volatility, which really sucks because this is messing with multiple algorithms, trading algorithms, and the market. With this type of pivots, the markets are not going to settle in. So maybe this leads to maybe he's trying to force Jerome's hand. I don't really know, but it's severely messing with the automotive markets. But again, shout out Gucci Cat from Twitter. I was getting a little worried you guys weren't going to guess it, then I was going to get stuck with like 2 copies of Wheel of Fortune, which that's too many. So looking back at Tesla, this is a trade we've been looking at for a while now. Pullbacks like this on Rainbow Trends on Tesla tend to bounce hard as F, but they have to find a clear bottom. And we're building the support. It's choppy as F, so the scalpers are having a field day, but like we are printing white and yellow candles into the reversion bands, and shout out the machine learning upgrade. You can see these prints. And we're starting to try to pull above it. The HMA has crossed below, and our target still remains this range here to try to get out somewhere in there. And we're looking at like a 50 to like 80% target is kind of where we're looking at for that take profit area. We're starting to get the cloud forming over here as well, and we're just trying to see what we can do. So far, so good. We've got a higher low. Maybe call that a Mali sweep, albeit it's a high time frame Mali sweep. We'll see. But, yeah, we'll see. Samantha Vulture on YouTube says, why would Trump do this to Musk? Frankly, Musk is not tariffable. I believe the Teslas are the most American-made vehicle. He's got a shit ton of chips, though, in him, for obvious reasons. So he may get squeezed on that. But he's literally like, he's not an elected official, like, but he's got the he's in the White House doing speeches. So I doubt that Trump would do a giant tariff that's going to screw Tesla. I highly doubt that. Maybe it's part of the volatility, but I always check this one because we have a clear rainbow theory setup here that we're chasing, and it's an automotive related, so I wanted to check it. You go look at Ford. Ford, you think of the blue oval, it's American. A lot of the Ford stuff's made in Mexico and Canada. I don't know about Canada, but I know it definitely in Mexico. A lot of the trucks are built in Mexico. If not, a lot of the components are. It's actually both. They build the trucks there and they build the components there. Ford is looking really, really bad. We've had this multi-year range that has been super consistent. Ford's been going from $10 to $16. We've swept it twice, and now we're actually like drifting down out of it. And dude, look at the volume impulses. So I don't have anything to do with Ford. Frankly, the new Mustang is not my favorite. Not really looking forward to that car at all. But I'm about to dox Gucci Cat. All I'm gonna say, he just shot me a message. I know his true identity. I'm actually surprised it's a cat. Anyway, Ford's here. Ford is not looking so good. Toyota is a foreign maker. Obviously, it's Japanese, but they actually produce a lot of their vehicles in the States. So some of the models aren't going to be tariffed. Then some of them are going to be heavily tariffed. It's like the Toyota pickup trucks and stuff. It's some of the highest American-made content in the automotive industry. And this has had a bleed down ever since we've had the Toyota Tundra engine issue, as well as kind of the Tacoma. But the Tundras was the big drawdown, and it's kind of been doing a channel walk, and now it's gone sideways. Market's done a dip, but I'm taking a look at it. I'm keeping a look at it. So we'll see. Speaking of that, let's check out O'Reilly, because this is my new favorite stock. If you can't tell, there's a reason why I like it. It tends to just go up and to the right. It's been doing this for like 15 years. It's my version of Coca-Cola. For what is Warren Buffett, I like O'Reilly's. Does it bounce with the markets? Yes, but typically it returns like 20% a year on average over like 15 or 20 years. It's crazy. It doesn't do dividends. Earnings are mixed, but it continues to go up and to the right. A lot of the O'Reilly automotive parts are made from overseas or in Mexico, so I'm kind of confused why this isn't dropping, because the cost of their components is going way up here. So either way, it continues to trend, and it has had no pullback. If you look at here's 2025. Can you tell the S&P pulled back 20%? Nope. You can't tell like anything's going on, but O'Reilly continues to truck to the right. They have a really cool theme song too, so keep that in mind. They got a nice little jingle. But anyway, thanks for all the people watching the show. We actually have some really good numbers on YouTube. Maybe it's the Wheel of Fortune. I don't know. I'm thinking about giving out some more crazy Nintendo 64 and Dreamcast stuff. We'll see. But regardless, you guys have to remember, markets are crazy. If you see me drifting into daily time frames, that's normally not something I do, but I do because we're in immediate chaos, and you can have these perfect setups, and the wrong tweet comes out and the news stuff, and everything gets nuked. I'm looking at the higher time frames, finding floors, finding volatility, leveling out, and that's kind of where we're at. And I think originally I wanted to say first 3 months of Trump is what we're going to need to get the market to get a feel for him and then see how they want to risk on or risk off. So far, it's just been chaos, and they want to they're feeding the fire to make it more chaotic. That's eventually going to stop. Someday it's going to stop. Whether that's a few months or it's forced to stop in 3 years, I doubt it does. But I'm just saying, it eventually comes to an end, and these markets will say, "Hey, I don't want to sit in gold anymore," because eventually gold probably gets dumped, if I had to guess. And long story short, this stuff's hard. And I wanted to show you guys this. So a bit of a motivation, midday break. I'm sorry if you didn't win the 1997 Wheel of Fortune Nintendo 64 cartridge, but just remember, hard things don't get easier. You just get stronger. So eventually you get your battle scars, right? And you then can hang out with the scarred whales that are markets. But speaking of serious TradeFi macro things, let's check our sentiment. You'll notice that Carpe Noctem is showing high time frame Pepe charts. Very rare to see Carpe looking at Pepe altcoins like this doing killer Ichimoku setups. Now I need to see if he's actually doing the AI cloud or if this is an actual his doubled settings. Regardless, it's something to note. So he's got his take. Let's take a look at Pepe with rainbow trends. As you can see, this is the custom clouds, Carpe Noctem cloud, doubled settings looking at it. And it's really the same thing. You're seeing huge support being found in the liquidity, and then finally this pivot holds. Swept the pivot, came back down, printing crazy numbers, and now we're actually looking at doing like an edge-to-edge trade here on Pepe, which, remember, Ethereum was like a 6-month down draw, and we're looking at like a, was it 130 return? Well, shoot, this is actually less than what Ethereum would be looking at. Oh, shoot, the music rolled over. Hold on. I try to keep the music back to my friends. So anyway, that's what we're looking at. And let me get to that one. I still have the old version of the tool on the charts. So I'll put that back. So yeah, that's what we're looking at. Albeit, as much as I want to do the trade of edge to edge, here to here, roughly, that reversion band there is kind of scary because we're not printing super hot colors yet, but we're touching the band and we're printing. I don't like longing that band. I like selling that band. It's the easiest way to put it. So anyway, Pepe, it's setting up. Now, as much as I don't want to buy that, right? Because that's just my natural H4 instinct with like rainbow theories and whales and all that junk. The thing to take note is there's a really good argument this is bottomed. And that goes back to kind of what Carpe Noctem is sniffing out here. You're actually looking at an altcoin about a frog that potentially does have a bottom here. And we have pivots back from August of 2024 that are getting retested. Big bleed out. We haven't seen the volume show back up yet, but maybe it'll start. But as you could saw last time, Pepe, volume showed up and it was off to the races. So maybe, but it's a weird feeling. Like the volatility of the S&P 500, people are infinite bidding gold. Do I want to look at meme coins? Not really. It feels wrong, but maybe this is the trade you're going to regret. I don't know. I can't ever justify messing with meme coins unless it's old Popcat, but Popcat's bled out too. But since we're talking edge to edge, we're talking Ichimoku, and we're running a little bit late, let's move forward. Solana has one of the cleanest setups ever, in my opinion. Now, Solana on H1, H2 doesn't make a lot of sense. Solana on daily makes a lot of sense. Matt the Vulture wants me to auction off Wave Racer. Man, Wave Racer is not as rare as the Wheel of Fortune. So, very clear order block on Solana on the daily. Let me give you the volume here. And by the way, if you want to like not look at your other panes, double click and it disappears. So there's your little trading view hack, so you can bring it back and forth as needed. Now, we've swept this, and we've done 3 drives, and you can see the new machine learning just lighting this bad boy up. But it's looking like we actually... It kind of looks like a creek. I don't want to say it is because I don't like how this is higher, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. And I'm not a big Sol fan at all, but this is clearly a break, and we're switching. There's no volume yet here to send it, but if you've been trading these order blocks have... like 70% range in them. So you can do a lot of damage here. Albeit, you're in the middle of the range here between the two. We're going to see. But if Bitcoin continues to break above the order block, that is, it's testing now the support one, Solana's going to go too. However this looks, whether it does a backflip then goes up, maybe we have another BitBoy versus Ansem fight. I don't know. That's true, man. You can control Z. So this is actually really, really awesome. And this has been one of the easier Rainbow Trends trades that we've been tracking for like the past 18 months. Mally and some of the other dudes have been just destroying these moves up and down, up and down, 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 as well as CryptoZen. Definitely, I did a bunch of CryptoZen edits and little clips. Go definitely check those out on YouTube. Moving on to PopCat. It's a little busy here. Let me pull Mally pivots off. I'm sorry, Mally. Let me pull the HMA off. Because if it looks a little busy to me, you first-time viewers are going to go nuts. But you can see how this thing is designed. You can see the machine learning actually right there. The orange dots, all that type of stuff. Looks pretty cool. But the big thing to point out here. The big thing. Let me reset that. Make sure the pivots are on. PopCat's kind of breaking out of an accumulation bottom. I thought it was dead to rights when it got to 12 cents. It's back up. Is it 40 cents now? It's 40 cents. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. 40 cents. It's continuing to truck, and it's actually like pushing into the cyan bands, which is normally where I want to sell, but PopCat's a long-term hold for me, but by God, it's got a long way to get back up to $2. But it's rising, which is cool, and if you've noticed, we got big boy volume showing up. So I'm hoping this thing can continue to keep pulling back, rise, pull back, rise, and just we keep walking up out of here. We get Ethereum to walk up and out. The crazy alts are going to go alt crazy too. Let's say the crazy alts. The smaller cap alts are going to go nuts. So that's what we really want to see. The other one, looking at kind of meme coins, Trump had the Trump token had a ridiculous pump this week. If you guys didn't notice, Trump announced that the top 200 holders are going to have basically dinner with the president, and then something like the top 10 or something like that. They're going to get a private tour of the White House with El Presidente as well. And price went bonkers. And it's set up for a clear Rainbow Theory trading setup. And what is that? That is the old Barto. We trade Barts with colors and we do well, and that's exactly what this did. So I wanted to take a minute and show you guys what a Bart does. Let me pull liquidations because we don't need liquidations for that. Rainbow Theory 101 Bart Simpson trading. Bart Simpsons are one of the hardest things to trade in the world. I had to go develop over a year and a half some additional tools just to be able to do this. But once we've developed it, we've back tested it, it's done great. So I have to go really, really low time frames because in the matter of less than 60 minutes, Trump went up 75%. Keep in mind, that's insane. As you can see, volume just went bonkers. Boom. News was found and it just went nuts, right? As it should. Straight to pink candles. So we have a color rotation of pink candles going to purple to cyan to green. And here's your bleed to green that's happening now, right? That so far has given you 27% pullback. Straight up here, volume impulse. We look for volume impulses on Barts. The left vertical side. The right side usually bleeds more. It doesn't just come straight down, but it does sometimes. The rotation there. Prints into the bands. We have prints into the cyan as well as the green bands. We have an RSI top here. We have a runner bot top here. And we have an HMA karate chop. As well as volume bleeding out. Right? It faded hard. So that is something that we set up a Bart for either a short or a very, very clear. If you had Trump, you sell it up here, you take profit, and then you DCA back in however you want. If we get the full Bart pattern, we don't always get it, but if we get the home run, we want to re-enter at the base here, where it started, which is roughly like here. So if we get the full BART, you're looking at a 41% retrace. And it's already pulled back 15. Now, you don't always get that. Sometimes these things pump, and then they do a second leg on a second dedicated run. Albeit, this one news impulsed on something pretty wild. I can't think of... Maybe they could drop some more crazy news, but that would be really risky as far as like being accused of insider trading. But that is BART 101, Rainbow Trends. This happened live. We had a lot of traders short this and make a lot of money in the Discord. So shout out to those who caught it. It was pretty awesome. And if you were sleeping, you could have now set alerts on all those prints. So it's pretty cool. If you guys have any questions, let me know or hit us up in the Discord. But moving on. Another bullish thing. Allegedly, people are very, very bullish on this, just like they were the Bitcoin Reserve. The new SEC chair, Paul Atkins, just said Bitcoin and crypto will be his top priority. The next 4 years are going to be wild. So the new SEC chair to replace Gensler. Now remember, Bitcoin hit like all-time highs with Gensler. So far, we're not doing so good. And I want to remind you, Bitcoin peaked the day of inauguration. So we literally elected the first pro-crypto president, and we've done nothing but retrace. Keep that in mind. Bullish news isn't always bullish, so maybe a pro-crypto SEC chairs, maybe that's a bad thing. It sounds good, but we elected the first pro-crypto president, and we pulled back 30. I'm hoping we recover and we continue on. I'm very bullish. I want to have 200K end of year, that type of stuff. But I'm just saying, keep tabs on that. Another thing, Binance is reportedly advising global governments on setting up strategic Bitcoin reserves. It's been revealed that like Russia is using crypto to settle oil payments across borders. So I think with the gold going crazy right now, people trying to de-risk out of the dollar, bonds, as well as the U.S. stock market, I think there's something to pay attention to here. If the country's answer to de-dollarization is to start stacking gold and Bitcoin, it's worth paying attention to if Bitcoin starts to become like the world's level currency, which we're a long way from, but that's kind of like the vision of like what Satoshi had. Binance is supporting it. So we'll take a look at BNB because I don't look at this chart ever, but I just have a hard time getting on BNB without CZ being part of the game anymore. Just being honest, but it's not doing too much. It's still freaking $600 though, which is crazy. This coin in particular moves really, really weird because they have so much control of it. But anyway, I want to start wrapping this up towards the end. Like I said, thank you guys for coming out. Thanks for all the support. One thing I do want to point out, though, this is another macro thing we have to pay attention to outside of tariffs. Marco Rubio is starting to play very hard ball with Russia and Ukraine. And this is a big headliner. It's trying to be really, really dramatic. We got puppies. U.S. will abandon Ukraine peace efforts if no progress made soon, Rubio says. So the big thing here, the Russia-Ukraine war will not end without concessions. And it's as much as I don't want that, that's the reality, right? So Ukraine is very upset for the amount of people and the territories they've lost, the cities that have been destroyed, whatever. They want zero concessions because F you to the other side, right? And that's totally fair. But the problem is Russia's entrenched. They're not giving up. Russia's very good at stalemates and holding those for a very long time and throwing bodies on the battlefield. Rubio is pushing Ukraine to say, you need to take a deal so we don't bury more people. As well as Russia. They're trying to get really tense with Russia, but Russia's kind of got somewhat of an upper hand here. So I'm very happy this is happening. This looks like a really sad thing. But basically Rubio's saying, like, we want peace. You're going to have to concede some stuff. Like, we have to come to the table and finish this war. All wars end that way, right? You have to come to the table, sign some papers, shake hands, right? Maybe they don't shake hands, but you get the point. So I'm keeping my eyes on this because I'm very bullish on that war ending. whether that's emotionally supportive or financially. I hate war and want it to be in it, and I think we're hopefully getting closer. It's a big priority of Rubio right now, and I hope they can pull it off. But lastly, we're going to shout out to Darius. I think I upset him today, but he's been talking a lot more about Bitcoin, which I like. And dear young crypto investors, if you're in a growth mode, I almost said model, and can hodl through any crypto winter, then why do you guys spend all day on Twitter worrying about esoteric topics like liquidity? I'm genuinely asking as a concerned friend, why not just build a DCA algo, log off Twitter, and get back to prioritizing your career, health, family, community? Surely you have better things to do with yourself. And I made the comment, hey, backtesting algos are a treacherous thing versus forward testing. So I'm trying to explain to Darius, and I think he took this the wrong way. It's very hard for people to build DCA bots, like he's just saying. Very, very hard. And a lot of people that start building like algorithms and automated trading strategies, they will backtest great, and then you turn them on live and they fall on their face. They can't trade. So I wanted to show, he's got a very valid point. He's true. You've seen what Saylor's been doing with DCAing, and the last thing Michael Saylor does is buy dips. Darius is saying, like, why don't you guys just buy dips and hodl and chill out and quit crying on Twitter? And Darius has a point. And I'll show you it. I'll keep it real simple here. This is Bitcoin zoomed out on the dailies with the machine learning reversion bands and just candle colors. And this is essentially what my mom's done. She's turned a very, very small amount of money into six figures over just buying dips. And it's not the most fun thing, but instead of buying every day a few dollars of Bitcoin, what you should do maybe, or potentially look at, set your algorithm up or set your buying strategy up so that way you're only focusing on buying the really, really rainy days. And if you want to be really, really simple, look at white candles. DCA into white candles. The white candle, it's boring. You can log off Twitter and do all the things that Dale was saying, but you need to buy the white candles. They don't come that often, and you just hodl or start selling the pinks. And that's really where you're at. If you want to add the reversion bands into it too, you can just set your alerts and wait for white candles to print on these. And you're talking about really damn good entries and really, really good exits, right? Or if you're just in hodl mode, you can hit those up and it's not so bad, right? So when he's saying like building a bot's really, really, it talks about it as if it's easy, but you have to realize how intelligent Darius is. It's actually a really, really hard thing to do. As you can tell, his algorithms are quite extensive, as well as Rainbow Trends, albeit we're different animals, but the point's still the same. You want to weaponize where you just buy capitulations and hodl? It's a very, very good trading system. And over time, you do a lot better. And the farther you put your scales out, as far as like time scales, the better you're going to do. Trading 1 minute candles, your success rate's going to be way less than trading dailies. The big dudes move slowly. So anyway, with that being said, I'm going to wrap this up. If you guys want to try out any of our tools, hit us up. It's $10 to get a month of Rainbow Trends, and you can try us out if you like us and it's actually improving your trading, which is the goal, to pay for itself. Give us a shot. Otherwise, we're going to go head out into the Discord and hang out with the OGs. If you're curious where the Discord is, go hit up the link at the top of the website. I think I also have it in my Twitter bio. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Thanks for coming out. And like I said, congratulations to the cat. That one Gucci cat who won the Nintendo 64 1997 Wheel of Fortune game. Anyway, much love,